Hello and welcome to this week's video. Following on some very interesting, intriguing, challenging training that I've been doing to improve my knowledge and understanding of mindfulness, I've come up with the idea of incorporating what we call the foundational attitudes of mindfulness into these videos. I've listed them on the page. And I'm basically going through them all alphabetically, which means that we're starting with acceptance. Now, acceptance doesn't mean, oh, I'm resigned to this, there's nothing I can do about it. Far from it. But what it does mean is that if you're in a situation that you can't really alter, that you don't waste energy fighting about it. And sometimes it's a case of just having to accept, well, that is where I am. That is how I am doing when I'm doing this set. It is how I will be focusing on it in the move set. And the meditation that I do at the end will also be very focused on helping you understand the idea of acceptance. So, at this time on a Sunday morning, I don't think anyone's actually going to be watching me live, but if anyone does pop in, hello. So I imagine most people are going to be catching up with this at a more sociable hour of the day. So I'd like to invite you to find yourself your space. Try to turn your phone off. Make sure that you're not going to be disturbed. If you've got any family around, tell them that for the next half hour you just want some time just for you. And then I'd like to invite you to, whether you're sitting or standing, just to get yourself in a reasonable posture, back nice and straight. And we will start with the bow in. Now, whether you're sitting or standing, you can do the bow in. So you bring your left hand across your body with the palm up, take your right hand across your body with the palm down, and bow. And that bow acknowledges the energy, it acknowledges me as the person leading you through this session, and for me, I acknowledge you as the person I'm leading and how much I learn every time I lead a session, whether it's in person or by video, and how much I learn from the feedback that I get. So, next step is to get yourself into a nice, good Qigong stance. So if you're standing, that's feet a hip width apart, and if you're sitting, that's feet a hip width apart. In fact, everything's the same whether you're standing or sitting, apart from the fact that obviously if you're sitting, you're not going to be able to gently relax your knees. Make sure your back is straight, make sure your neck is straight, chin tucked in so the crown of your head is pointing up at the ceiling. Arms hanging loosely by your side if you can. If not, then just get them wherever is comfortable for you. If you're seated, it may help to just allow them to rest on your lap if that's best for you. And just take a moment to get used to this situation, and then just breathe. Just breathe quite gently and rhythmically, using your breath to tune in to your body, just noting any signals that your body is sending you, and accepting that those signals are there. Send your awareness down to your feet. Make sure that your feet, especially if you're standing, are flat on the floor and that your weight is evenly distributed, back to front and left to right. And then take a moment to just ground yourself. Maybe you could imagine that you have roots growing out of your feet, down into the ground, connecting you to the earth. Get that sense of being connected to the earth. Then, just a few simple things to remember. If you can breathe, you can do it. And it's not about doing it perfectly, it's about doing it perfectly for you, being mindful of what your body and your breath are like and are comfortable with, and accepting that that is how things are. So, hands down by your side if you can. Just breathe quite normally and rhythmically. And then when you're ready, with your next in-breath, just allow your arms to slowly float out in front of you. And then as you breathe out, just allow them to sink all the way back down. And you move your arms as far as you can manage in one gentle, easy breath. Don't worry about the rhythm I'm using. Find your own breath and your own rhythm. And accepting that that's what your natural and best rhythm is for today. Maybe tomorrow things will be better if you're unhappy. So breathe in, just allowing your arms to float up in front of you. And then with the out breath, they just slowly sink all the way back down. Being mindful of the effect that's having in your shoulders. And trying to let all the movement be driven by your breath. So that everything follows from the breath. And being accepting that if you're not yet able to do that, that you're doing the best that you can. So we'll do this move twice more. As you breathe out, just allow your hands to sink down at the bottom. Just relax and let go. And the next move begins in a very similar way. Breathing in, letting your arms float up, but then letting the expansion of your chest allow your hands to spread out. And then with the out breath, they float back in and back down. Again, just doing what works for you. Just manage with your breath. Accepting that that's perfect for you. Doesn't matter what I'm doing. You need to be doing what's perfect for you. Breathing in, letting your arms float up and spread apart. Breathing out and they float back in and back down. And then last time for this move. As you breathe out, allow your hands to relax back down at the bottom. Just relax and let go. The next move is painting rainbows. So this time as you breathe in, allow your arms to float up, taking them as high as you can manage without hunching your shoulders. And as you breathe out, transfer your weight slightly to the left-hand side and allow your right arm to uncurl. If you're seated, just allow your right heel to rise slightly off the floor as the right arm uncurls. Then do the same on the other side. Remember to keep your back straight. Don't lean over. And taking your arms as high as you can manage without hunching your shoulders. and accepting that that's as high as you can take them. Then we'll do the move one more time on each side. Then on the in-breath, bring your hand up to the top. And then as you breathe out, turn your palms outwards and let your hands sweep all the way down by your sides. And then on the in-breath, just allow them to float up. Make this movement as big or as small as you're comfortable with. Only make the moves as big as your breath and your shoulders will allow. Breathe in, let your hands float up. Breathe out and let them float all the way back down. And then last time for this move, breathe out. And at the bottom, just relax and let go. And I have to let a cat out. Go on, there you go, Freya. Cats. So, next, as you breathe in, can you just bring your hands gently into position in front of your body, maybe cupped as if you're holding a small ball. And just relax into this position. And then with your next in-breath, can you imagine that you're feeling around that small ball? And as you breathe out, imagine you're pushing it underwater. Be careful to take your hands no higher than your heart. Breathe in, smooth around the ball, breathe out and push it underwater. And we'll do this move a couple more times. And on the last move, as you breathe out, just allow your hands to come to rest in front of your belly button or on your lap, or actually wherever is comfortable for you. And just for a few breaths, sit or stand. Just getting that feeling of everything settling back to where it should be. Then when you're ready, let your hands float down. Bring your feet together and we'll bow out as we bowed in. And then get yourself into position for the meditation. And while you're doing that, just a reminder that when you for personal Qigong practice, you need to repeat each move generally 6 to 8 times. You should be spending about the same time, that is 6 to 8 breaths, on the preparation at the beginning and at the standing Zen at the end. So, I hope you've now got yourself in a comfy position. Because it's horrendously early on a Sunday morning, I'm not going to use a singing bowl. I don't want to wake the rest of the house up. So, if you're lying down, try to make sure that your back is nice and straight and that your body's nice and straight. If you're sitting, whether you're sitting on a stool or a chair or a cushion, especially if you're sitting on a chair, try to move so that your back is away from the back of the chair, so that your back is supporting your head and you're self-supporting in what Mark Williams calls an attitude of wakefulness. But as ever, you need to be in a position that's comfortable. So take a moment to get yourself in a position that works for you. And then I'm going to invite you to close your eyes if you wish, but you don't have to close your eyes if you don't want to. And I'm going to invite you first of all just to be aware of any sounds reaching your ears. There'll be the sound of my voice, but there may well be other sounds from inside or outside the room where you are. Don't go actively listening, just almost focus on your ears and just see what comes to them. Notice how sounds come and sounds go. Resist the temptation to classify or identify them. They are just sounds. And then bring your awareness inside to your body. Be aware of where your body is. Be aware of how your body is being supported right here, right now, by the bed or the chair or the stool. Can you notice where your body is in contact with anything, whether it's clothing or furniture or carpet? How many different textures are you aware of? Whatever you're aware of is perfect. And then maybe imagine yourself sinking a little deeper, getting a little bit more support. Just relaxing slightly further in. And as you do that, maybe allowing your shoulders just to relax a little bit more. And then bring your awareness further in to your breath. Just notice every in-breath and every out-breath as it naturally happens. Don't change your breath in any way. And if your breath isn't quite as you feel it should be, as mine sometimes isn't, I'm asthmatic, just accept that and just observe your breath as it naturally happens. You're not trying to change anything here. You're just observing things. Just noting what you feel with each breath. Now you may notice that your mind wanders away from this. After all, thinking about your breath isn't the most natural thing in the world to do. And your mind may think it's got more important things it needs to think about, like cooking and shopping and work and bills and things like that. Well, do you know, if that happens, that's okay, because that means you've got a normal human mind. But if you notice your mind has wandered away from your breath, can you note that fact? And then I just want you to accept that your mind wandered away from your breath. I don't want you to beat yourself up. Maybe put a mental post-it note for the issue that's taken your mind away. Something so that you'll remember it later. But then, gently, compassionately, lead your mind back to your breath. Accepting that because you have a normal human mind, you may have to do that time and time again. Because that's what human minds are like. but accepting that your breath can be an anchor to help anchor you into this moment. So, what do you notice as you breathe? What are you aware of? Can you maybe feel air moving in and out through your nose? Or maybe you notice air moving in the back of your throat. Maybe what you're most aware of is muscle movement in your chest or in your back or in your tummy. Just allow your awareness to rest with whichever part of your breath comes most strongly to your attention. If I've mentioned something that you don't notice, just accept that. Hey, we're all different. And just allow your attention to rest with whatever part of your breath comes most strongly to your attention. Not worrying what other people might be noticing, not worrying if other people are doing it better. Just accepting what you are doing and what you are aware of right here, right now. And I'm not really bothered how many times you need to lead your mind back. Just as many times as your mind tries to wander away, just as many times gently lead it back. Can you maybe follow one breath all the way in and all the way out? Can you be aware what you sense and where you sense it at the start of every in-breath? And then again at the start of every out-breath. It doesn't matter what you notice. That's what you notice. And using your breath as an anchor to anchor you into this moment. Because right here, right now, nothing else matters except just this breath coming in, just this breath going out. Just this breath coming in, just this breath going out. Now there's a lot of movement associated with your breath. Air moves, muscles move. But now I'd like to invite you to see if you can become aware of that brief moment of stillness that happens in between each breath. Don't hold your breath. Don't change your breath in any way. Just allow your breath to be totally normal. And see if you can become aware of that brief moment of stillness. And can you maybe imagine that every time you breathe, some of that stillness gets placed in that place inside you where you keep all the good feelings. Because stillness is very good. Stillness can be very calming, especially in a busy world. But because it's a busy world, it can be very hard to find. But now you have a means to find that stillness whenever you need it. And every breath that you take, imagine a tiny drop of stillness gets placed in that special place where you store the feelings that you need to call on when life gets challenging. So, can you find that place now? That place where you store feelings of strength, confidence, calmness, stillness, peacefulness. With your next in-breath, can you imagine that you breathe down deeply into that place, wherever you store it, wherever it is within your body. And then as you breathe out, that out-breath will carry with it the feeling that you need most, right here, right now. And as you breathe, I'd like you to imagine that that feeling spreads throughout the whole of your body. So after 4 or 5 gentle, easy breaths, the whole of your body is filled with that feeling. And now allow your awareness to extend to the whole of your body. Hold the whole of your body in your awareness. Notice that it's filled with this good feeling, and notice how good that feels. And now bring your awareness back once more to your breath, just noticing every in-breath and every out-breath as it naturally happens. Visualize your breath as an anchor that you can use to help anchor you, to recall this good feeling that you have right here, right now. Then gently allow your awareness to extend outwards, becoming aware of where your body is, and then becoming aware of the room and sounds from both inside and outside the room. And then opening your eyes if they were closed and bringing yourself back to totally normal awareness. But remembering that you can take this good feeling with you through the rest of your day. So as you bring yourself back to normal awareness, don't rush off. Just sit there and listen to me for another minute or so. This week has been about acceptance, accepting how well or badly you do something. In the case of Qigong and mindfulness, it can very well be accepting that, okay, I'm not doing it perfectly, but that's why I'm practicing it. Accepting that maybe you can't do things the way you would really like to. And so acceptance is not about resignation, oh, I can't do anything about it. It's just being pragmatic. If a situation is how it is, there's no point in wasting time and energy wishing it was else, wishing it was different, because that just takes away the energy that you need to make what changes you can. There is a prayer that is used in the 12-step program for alcoholics, which is, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And that's something I try to live by, and it's actually a very mindful prayer, because sometimes you just have to accept. I mean, if you're going on a journey, it's pointless to wish that you were starting from a different place. You're going to make that journey starting from where you are right here, right now. You have no choice. So accepting that can be quite fundamental. Anyway, I'm going to go through each of the attitudes of mindfulness over the next few weeks and then hopefully integrate them into a whole. This, I hope, will bring a different approach to both the Qigong practice and also to the mindfulness meditations. As ever, all feedback is very welcome. You can leave feedback under this video or you can PM me. If you have enjoyed this video and are thinking, well, I think that person would really enjoy it, please feel free to share it. This video will also be uploaded to my YouTube channel and to my Patreon page. These videos are free and will remain so, but if you'd like a little bit more video time with me, maybe to look more in depth at mindfulness and the attitudes, then please feel free to go over to my Patreon page and see how, for a very small sum of sponsorship each month, I think it's $2, you can get an extra half hour with me that's only available to my sponsors, and that is done, the content of that is tailored to what my sponsors request. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you next week.